We'll move to the next panel discussion. And as I said, we had to do the inauguration. That's the reason we are running 1 hour late, which was expected. Now I invite thank you. Next panel discussion to be moderated by Dr. Venkatesh Devanur. Next slide, Dalna. And then Debu. Sorry, we are used to call you that way, can't tell. Debabrata Sarkar is a head of Alga Energy and AGMA. Lovely, thanks Debu. And then we have Jivani Jab. Wow, come. Reja Jivani ji, who heads Vikas and allied groups from his company. And then of course, again, a very, very dear friend. For me, it's always, I have a selfish motive. Let me also tell you this. Me and Anita conduct this because हम लोग के लिए, आप लोग सब यहाँ आ जाते हो हमसे मिलने के लिए. It's more like, extended family gathering. RP, you thought inviting, देखो, यही तो होता है ना. RP heads compo expert, which is doing extremely good work, so, Daksab, I leave it to you for this beautiful topic. Again, when I started my career in consulting, one of my favorite words was Tina. तो बड़ा मज़ा आता था word use करने के लिए मेरे को. तो Tina, as we all know, there is no alternative. If you see today's context, if you look into the word bio, I think sooner or later, it will not be an alternative but a requirement. It is a necessity. And you will see there are doyens like, to begin with, Dr. Venkatesh Devanur. If you hear his story, how he entered in this business, you need to have a separate meeting with him. And we have got companies who have started getting into this as a very separate vertical. And we have got dedicated companies like Veganic who are only into this. So value addition is coming in multifold. So that's the reason we all together felt this apt topic for this today's discussion is there is no alternative to bio inputs. So over to you, Dr. Venkatesh Devanur, with this fabulous team. I envy this team.
Thank you, Raj. Good afternoon already to all ladies and all gentlemen. Gentle ladies and gentlemen, of course, I always call it. It's my privilege to be a panelist and co-panelist with distinguished members. We have here, there's Jivani, probably one of the largest producers of biostimulant granules in the country. They're based in Gujarat and has a very good experience in multi-geographical areas. We have Debabrata, Sarkar, and Debu, what we call him, a good background of academics to multinational companies and now heading a very large biostimulant company. Then we have Mr. R.P. Singh from the Compco expert, the nutrition area. My name is Venkatesh. The subject which our friend Raj has given is TINA for bio. I take liberty of changing, there is no alternative, because it's an audacious statement. Usse acha hai, there is new alternative. So TINA, I call it, there is new alternative. Biological is one of the complementary new alternatives, supplementing the mainstream inputs of agriculture. Our biological inputs essentially means biopesticides, biofertilizers, biostimulants, and other biological inputs. We are in a situation of soil health getting eroded drastically. We use only 33 million tons of urea, 33 million tons. 10 million tons of DAP kind of thing. Urea sold at 6 rupees, virtually free of cost. Farmer can, and then more than 2 crore rupees of subsidy given to farmers, industry. A farmer in India, a lucky man, can go and dig the borewell wherever he wants. On top of that, free power is given. We export largest, one of the first, second largest rice exporters. For every kilogram of rice, we use 1,500 to 5,000 liters of water. So we are the largest exporters of free water to the world also. And like this, we have huge burdens put on the soil, and the soil today is having less than 0.2, 0.3% organic carbon, we are eroded drastically from monoculture practices and not adding organic inputs, organic fertilizer, down to 0.2, 0.3%. As long as soil organic carbon is 0.2, 0.3%, and urea available for free, power available for free, digging borewell wherever you want, wherever you want, and then on top of it, with a land use pattern, a farmer doesn't want to give lease of his land to corporate agriculture. Without corporate agriculture coming in, you can't do a contour cultivation, you can't have mechanization, it's impossible. Subdivision, fragmentation, all the regular stories we keep hearing. In this given scenario of 140 million farmers, cultivating 140 million hectares of land, about 1 hectare per family, what kind of great technology honestly you expect? It is honestly a very uphill task to bring in alternative technologies, biological technologies. The industry is working hard. We have extremely proactive government in Government of India and many state governments here. With all the help of the senior government officials and functionaries and industry, we try to do something to make it possible. But then there are a lot of impediments. 2-3 days ago, I was just circulating in a group. Maharashtra government has brought in a bill to add biofertilizers in the essential commodities act along with bootleggers, slumlords, black marketeers. Use the word slumlords, bootleggers. Biofertilizers are put in that category, and the bill is in the assembly to get passed now. Are we this? Our Prime Minister says decriminalize. We are getting criminalized for either pH or for moisture content, anything. Where is the incentive for large industry which R&D background to get into it? I'm very blessed today to have such senior, our policy makers in front of us. So I take the liberty of just introducing small topic. And now we come back here. There is new alternative. So with that new alternative, what is that? We'll start with our Jiwari, and I think he has a small presentation to make. Afterwards, we have got 5-10 minutes each, and then we come back with one question each. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Hi, very good afternoon. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And there is no alternative to bio inputs. I, as a third generation family business entrepreneur, wherein my grandfather started with manufacturing of BHC and DDT dust, the second generation going into granulation, to serve something that can be used as a media for soil application, initially being used for butachlor, but since 1996, converted to a seaweed granule. So, that was the first moment to understand that there is an alternative to chemicals and chemical agriculture. So, we have been doing as a family since last 35 years, but we as a third generation, when we came in, we were told that, countries like Brazil are taking the lead. With that, along with Dr. Venkatesh as well, frequenting visits to these countries, understanding how bioag is being implemented on a practical level, and then implementing it here, with companies to go to the farmers. That is the journey that we are on. So, presentation please. It is important because the industry is here. Next please. Acha, it's here. Bilkul. Yeah. So as mentioned, we are a 53-year-old family business group since 1972. In these years, we have taken the whole lot, backward integration, forward integration. So right from mineral mining to granulation to formulation. In formulation, when we needed seaweed extract, then taking up technology from CSM, CRI to make seaweed extract, with right technology, taking the biofertilizers technology, and now to comply with the new FCO norms, taking up new technology. Because when we are here to serve the industry, we need from backward integration to forward integration, So that is granulation, formulation, encapsulation, final product packaging, and then dispatch. As mentioned, we are into seaweed cultivation, extraction, filtration, concentration, and spray drying. We wanted India to be a net exporter in few products that we imported before. In India, there was a product called humic granules or seaweed granules in the form of shiny balls. The quantity was huge. It was not recorded, because it was a non-FCO product. But the quantity was more than 50,000 metric tons. We were the pioneers in India to replace that product against China. We were the first manufacturing country after China to make it, and we made it in 2018. 2020, Corona, wherein there was anti-China sentiments globally. It was a blessing for us. And after that, we have entered at least more than 20 countries with that product. So now, wherein China was trying to be, a player into unknown sources of biostimulant, now we have authorized Government of India's research validated product going to more than 20 countries. I was fortunate enough to talk to Dr. Himanshu Pathak this morning that, we have introduced this technology in East African countries. We have our own warehouses in Tanzania, wherein, we are supporting companies out there to get this Indian technology to the end farmers. Since last 12 years, we have established in Middle East, we have in Africa, we have an office in Latin America now. And, because we are working with 100 Indian companies and 35 global companies, we have a very large-scale facility which is coming up on Vadodara-Bharuch highway. This is one more facility other than the 9 current facilities that we have for manufacturing. And we do contract manufacturing job work. We are into, because mycorrhiza is again a product, Dr. Venkatesh, sir, and many of you are the gurus of this product. Initially taken as a technology from Terry, then modified and made it better. I believe, India is taking lead in mycorrhiza. Although, maybe US was the one, who initiated things, but if you see the commercial application, taking it to the fields, trying, applying, and getting it better and better, India is taking up the lead, and that's where we are collaborating with good mycorrhiza companies to make mycorrhiza products for their markets. This patent of seaweed extraction, now, why seaweed extraction we are talking about so much here? After coming of FCO, it is important. Initially what was happening, some powder was coming in the name of seaweed. People were reconstituting in the form of, along with water to make it a seaweed liquid. But now, as the norm says, for example, this is the minimum alginic acid criteria. These are the other minimum pH criterias. There are 2 ways of doing it. One is in the natural format, wherein you are associated with someone who has right from cultivation up till the final product, so that you get the right specific, right concentration, that you need. The second is you artificially add up things to, mark up things across. Of course, going in the right direction is important. Things might be costly in initial terms, but it is the right way to do it and will be beneficial. This technology has US patent, European Union patent, Indian patent. This technology, it has given, Government of India has done these trials. There is 36% increase in yield in soybean, the main protein source of the country. There is 18% increase in paddy, in rice. Maize, we see 23% increase in yield. Similarly, in sesame, potato, sugarcane, the government has done 171 trials in 43 agriculture universities. These are the 20 states of India, the 43 agriculture universities, wherein CSM CRI has done in all these universities. And now it is a validated product which is available in liquid and granular format. This is the new FCO norms, now from 23rd of June. I understand that each one has to comply because there are a lot of extensions which has been given. It is important, because we have been working, we knew that these are something that, either we create a ruckus or we have to follow what the norms are. So we have tried and developed, that criteria, so that the right FCO product is given to the market. Granular biofertilizers, I understand there are good biofertilizers companies here. People are trying to give it in powder format mostly, for foliar applications. sometimes in soil applications. What we believe is because, there is a lot of nitrogen which is already there in the soil, as mentioned, giving at 6 rupees a kg. There is so much phosphorus right in the soil. And then selling a biofertilizer 250 gram per acre, 500 gram per hectare, I'm not sure, how it is going to help. What we have done with few companies is we have made biofertilizer granules, potash mobilizing bacteria granules, phosphate solubilizing bacteria granules. Now it is very easy for them to use it along with DAP. So they are using DAP, they are also using a PSB granules. So that is giving a right away effect for the new ingredient that is given, as well as the phosphorus and nitrogen which is already there, as well as potassium. As mentioned, we are India's largest manufacturing group for all these granulated biostimulants. We have mines for that. And these are the new premium micronutrient liquid, because in micronutrient, if you see FCO book is getting thicker year on year. But it is important, which are the micronutrient which is really needed by the market, which are the new technologies that are coming in, as well as which are the new micronutrient which can be applied in foliar spray. So these are, for example, potash fortified with silicon, chelated zinc as zinc glycine, zinc gluconate. These are the few, biofertilizers in granule format that we are giving. Of course, I'll be very happy to participate in this panel discussion. Before that, to say something in Hindi as a farewell, why this granulated biostimulant, the word we are using, is very much helpful and needed for the industry as well as for the farmer. Let me end up with this, that zameen se rishta jode, wo dana hai khas. जमीन से रिश्ता जोड़े वो दाना है खास, ग्रैन्यूल बायोस्टिमुलेंट दे खेतों में नई सांस, जड़ से जुड़कर करे पोषण का कमाल, हर फसल बोले अपना कोई सवाल, धीरे धीरे घुले पर असर करे गहरा, धीरे धीरे घुले पर असर करे गहरा, मिट्टी को दे जीवन उपज बड़े पहरा, रसायन नहीं ये प्रकृति का उपहार, हर किसान का सपना हर खेत का उद्धार. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for a very poetic and philosophical ending. We understand from him that large-scale production of seaweed granule is able to help improvement of soil structure and also give the biostimulant effect. We have with us now a very eminent speaker, Mr. Debabrata Sarkar. The question I'm going to ask is very simple, more a panel discussion, not a presentation technically, so you can be free style activity. How do you think this kind of biostimulants, particularly we are into seaweed, how does it help us in creating a sort of alternative to a farmer in terms of improving soil health? That is what your takes are.
Thank you. First of all, thanks Raj for this platform. I think every time we get to discuss certain things which are for a larger group, coming back to the panel discussion, I understand that, the panel discussion was for Tina. So I will stick to that. I'm a commercial man, so if I have been assigned with 5 minutes, I will try to be less than that so that my PNL looks healthy. So the first point is that I will come up with the context that, why it is being told. So I think it is very much important that we understand where we are coming from, soil. That is, I think, that we cannot live without, like water, we cannot live without. And when it comes to the topic of soil, the most important one, there is a scary picture ahead that, it is being told now that we have 60 years of farming left because of a reason, because I think the top layer of the soil is getting eroded, and there can be many reasons. Some of the reasons are extensive use of fertilizer, there can be many. You can Google and find out why this soil erosion. But the fact is, every single minute we are losing 30 soccer field of soil. And if we don't do anything, if we still only discuss and don't do anything, we will lose 2/3 of the arable soil by 2050. So that's scary. So I think, and if you go further, we talk a lot about, climate change, and we are really being part of this generation where climate change is playing a very big role. Soil, a healthy soil, if you go through a book called Drawdown, you will get to see out of 25 ways to combat climate change, 11 ways to have the soil healthy. So if you keep the soil healthy, 11 ways you can combat the climate change. So that's important. So those are inevitable. So those are the things I think TINA really means. For me, TINA really means is that these are the things we really need to, whether we are part of agriculture, we are not part of agriculture, whether we are a direct farmer, not direct farmer, we all require food. And food is not going to come extensively with this kind of population without soil. So I think that is the most important part. He talks about macroalgae. I call it macroalgae seaweed. And I'm sure Venkatesh will also talk about a lot of micro. So I think that is the way you need to regenerate the soil. You need to really look at the soil, how we can build up the soil again, so that we can live a little more longer with a healthy space and healthy life. And that's the way we all need to think. So I think there are multiple ways. We also provide a solution with macroalgae. We also provide a solution with microalgae. But I think we have many more times here to discuss individually what we can offer. But I think many offer and solutions will be available. We need to execute. How many of you believe that knowledge is power? Can you raise hand? I'm sorry, knowledge is not power. Execution is power. So do you have a knowledge? So before I end, I'll take 30 seconds more. I'm a smoker. I'm not a great personality in true term. But if you go with the knowledge level, the number of person died out of diabetes is 10 times more than smoking. I have seen a cigarette packet, how it is being portrayed. It's definitely not good. But do you really not think that every drop of sugar when we are using in terms of cold drinks or any other stuff whatsoever should also write the same thing? Because it's 10 times more death. So it's a good knowledge, but execution is the key. Thank you.
Very good. Well said. Well said. Now we have Mr. RP Singh integrate their mainstream nutrition and also look at soil health. The question to you is like this, sir. Phosphorus, for example, is a dying resource. It's only mined item. So phosphorus is now produced in a factory. 30, 40 years from now, we will reach phosphorus peaking. That year onwards, the demand-supply gap will reach for a big commodity like phosphorus. It will be resulting in extremely difficult situation of the demand-supply gap, and the price can be different. Potash, again, a few countries with the oligopoly. You are in a good position to assess the historical aspect and the present nutrients uptake in the market. And how do you think we can bridge the mainstream with the biologicals to make it a better alternative to farmer? Thank you, Singh.
Thank you, sir. Very illustrative question, and whatever limited information, knowledge or skill I have, would like to reiterate over here that we have to have a holistic approach when we look at nitrogen, phosphorus or potassium or any sort of micronutrients. Bio input, if I include with this, we have to look at how we can integrate these bio inputs, whether it's a biostimulant, whether it's a biofertilizer, friend was talking about mycorrhiza and all. Moreover to that, if we look at a depletion, there is a saying that if you have to understand the culture of any country, you have to look at soil. So 6 inch of soil, 15 centimeter of soil speaks about your custom and tradition. So we have to look at that how these biological products or innovations are going to help release of the phosphorus or potassium, and there is a lot of innovation is required. That's what I can say today. So over here we can talk about one of the best thing is Black Soldier, where we have to work on, And the second thing, we can look at a protein fusion technology, which is really going to work a lot. And third thing, what recently is done is a carbon dot-based technologies. So if we are going to integrate all these things with, I won't say that with the urea, DAP or potash, of course, that cannot be replaced. But challenge with the industry is, rightly said by one of the friends over here, that how to execute, how to teach the trainers, how to teach the teachers, or how to reach at the level, at the ground level. That's very important. We are having so many products which are really beautiful to release, the nutrients available into the soil. But the problem is how to communicate with them, how these extension can be done, whether the proper knowledge is being transferred or not. Challenge is this. Means you can talk about any product over here, sir, but the thing is whether that product, knowledge, information about that product, segmentation of that product, positioning of that product is there or not. That is a major challenge with any of the companies or any with this industry. So coming back to your question that nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, yes, there would be depletion. There is a soil degradation. That is why we are sitting over here to talk about. But a lot needs to be done to integrate with the help of the scientists as well as with the help of some of the institute, that how to move forward in the case. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Siksham. Now, I have one question briefly for each panelist, basically. I'll start with Mr. Devani. Now, you are a large-scale player in seaweed fertilizer. Tens of thousands of tons you're doing it. Now, farmers are using a lot of fertilizers, urea particularly, cheap urea. How do you feel the farmer, a small farmer, can be convinced about the use of such kind of biostimulant when they are already giving a free of cost input, basically? How is the challenge you are addressing in the market?
Thank you so much. As Mr. Sarkar rightly said, execution, continuing that point here, there is a practical example you guys must have seen. Before a month or so, Nitin Gadkari ji took farmers of Nagpur to Spain to understand the citrus farming practices there, the productivity that they are getting, the quality of crop that they are getting, as well as how to integrate the food processing after harvesting. So until and unless the farmers understand the best practices happening across the globe, here, India is a big producer of soybean, for example. If you see the farming practices that are being done in US and Brazil for soybean, it is very much different, very much detailed. Farmers of India are not, farming here is not sustainable because the productivity, the yield, the pricing that they're getting is not so good. I have seen after Corona, youths along with me going into farming, after 3 years coming back out of it. Because the farming way was traditional. Now, after creation of FPOs, wherein there is a top representative, the top captain of 250, 500,000 farmers, just taking him throughout the world, showing the best practices being done there without urea, without DAP, in the formats that Indian farmers are using, and then they coming back and showing it to their farming community itself is creating difference. We have seen it recently in citrus farming. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My question to Mr. Sarkar is, we all talk of soil health. Therefore, microbes are very important, nutrient use efficiency is important, but the fact is whether the babies which we send, microbes, to soil, can they survive, can they multiply in a toxic environment is a big question. Now, you are in a business where you provide an input which helps the plant grow even under certain difficult challenges of pH or adverse conditions. How do you think is a possibility of integrating microbes into this kind of algae and the other biostimulants, where together can a farmer see result and make the adoption of technology more easier? What's your take on this?
So I think it's a very fundamentally important question because, I think, so which one, the chicken or the egg first? So that is imperative that you need to revitalize the soil and soil to make it more enriched. Microbes are needed. But then, yes, in the given circumstances, it's definitely a stressful situation for the microbes, so they require a congenial atmosphere. And that's why probably the biomass plays a very important role, and that is why to create the right, atmosphere for the microbes or the rhizosphere, you need stuff like algae and other metabolites, or to create the organic carbon percentage higher, because the right now, as I think you have only mentioned that, and everybody knows it, that the organic carbon in the soil is less than 0.5%, and government mandate is to make it more than 1.5% in next 10 years, 8 to 10 years time. So from that perspective, I think not only we, I think MicroAlgae and many other stuff plays a very important role, or even organic matter, increasing organic matter can be done through multiple ways, even FIM, even through many others. So, but when end of the day, we need to add those things to the soil apart from the normal, traditional inorganic fertilizer, because it's high time, and do we want to give our next generation a healthy life? If the answer is yes, we need to do it. Like, we all have knowledge that we need to revitalize the soil. Are we executing it? That's the question mark, because I think government and everybody is in that fray. That is why biofertilizer are getting a mandatory stuff. Again, it's a great knowledge and it's a great initiative. Execution, end of the day, would be the key. And then I think we as an industry, the institution, the government, policymaker, and all individuals sitting out here plays a very important role to finally make it to the execution level.
Thank you very much. Sir, the question to Singh Sahab. We have a regime of subsidized fertilizers, straight-jacketed formula, and it is costing the exchequer huge amount, colossal amount of money. In a $250 billion nutrition industry, we are maybe pure biological inputs, probably less than $2.5–3 billion. $1 billion is definitely for rhizobium, all other about $1.5 billion. Consultants do say $8 billion because they sell the reports for $200,000, that's a different matter. Now, with your mainstream kind of a good research you're doing in many countries, European countries, India, how do you feel we can bridge the gap of making a farmer use biological or soil health inputs along with the conventional mainstream nutrients? That is a challenge which we face, basically. What is your take on this?
Thank you. Hello. Yeah, thank you for your question, sir. Actually, we at Compo Expert basically bridging this gap last 3 decades, working on different technologies. As during the course of discussion, I was talking about that how to have a holistic approach, 359-degree of approach to move forward to help our farming community. Of course, subsidy burden is too high. But we have to look at several aspects of Indian situation, that the farmers are, very, very fragmented land, whether they can use only urea, even somewhere we find that they are even not using DAP and potash. So, of course, this is altogether different kind of a sector we're in. But yes, if we talk about bio-inputs, biostimulants are new technologies, because we are running 2 innovation centers in India. That's where we are only discussing and innovating the products, which is really working with your SOP-based fertilizers like 14-7-14. We are working on nitrogen-efficient technologies, and we are also adding on some of the microbes in that particular fertilizer, like a 14-7-14 or maybe 12-11-18, and different soil release fertilizers. And top of that, just we have gone for one more step ahead, that how to use these microorganisms specific, because we have to look at, we are having a different agroecological zone. It's not important that whatever microbiome or microorganism is working in this particular segment in Hyderabad, it will work in Kolkata. So that's where, again, I'll talk about that, how to integrate, how to bridge this gap by using whatever, because we cannot substitute, sir. We can not replace our NPK fertilizers. We can do, as was being talked by our guest, that use some biostimulants, use some kind of granulars which is available, and segmentize them, position them for the benefit of the farming community. But again, I'll say, the fertilizer, whatever urea, DAP, potash and others, that cannot be replaced, but we can have a share of 10%, 15%, 20% to whatever the harassment of the soil is happened last so many decades, that can be restored. And we can improvise. One thing, sir, I would like to ask you, if you permit me. We talk about bio-input in relation to sustainability. What is your take on this, about the sustainability aspect when we talk about this bio-input?
See, bio-input for three major activities we talk. One is for soil health. Number two, for plant health, that is crop protection. And number three, addressing abiotic pressure. Now, abiotic pressure has become a serious problem over a period of last 10-15 years. Definitely, there are no chemical solutions on hand to address abiotic pressure. Therefore, bringing in the technologies of addressing abiotic pressure by biological inputs with the help of mainstream products is very important inputs to be added now. Number two, if you take human health, environment health, the toxic residues in the food, fodder, feed cycle, this is becoming a problem over a period of time. You heard just 2 days ago, 4,000 crore worth of mangoes got dumped in USA. Though it was irradiated properly, documentation was not proper. $500 million Indian mango got dumped in USA. Now, where do we, there is no incentive for next mango farmer to grow. So therefore, you have to look at how the residue of pesticides in the food, feed, fodder can be also brought down. So definitely there is a need to integrate the new biological inputs along with the mainstream inputs to balance the equation of economics. Farmer has to find it incentive to use the input and get the benefit out of it. That is how the scenario is going to be, and I think we have reached our time limit. We have a lot of other programs I'm seeing agenda is there, and the only concluding remark I would like to make is, like Oriental saying says, soil is a loan from our great-grandchildren. Soil is a loan from our great-grandchildren. Can we preserve, at least pay principal amount to them, if not with the interest? With that conclusion, I thank you panelists for your inputs, insights, and I hope Raj will take it forward to make it more meaningful with more subjects to the audience. Thank you very much for this occasion.
Thank you. I liked RP putting the question to Dr. Devanur, moderator. Probably that's a new concept you have created for me. So I'll have more like, let's have a questions and answers amongst the team rather than one happening. That's a brilliant idea you gave. That's how I get. And Dr. I never thought, I've been using this word Tina for ages, and now I'll change it, not there is no alternative, now I'll change it to there is a new alternative. It's a brilliant, it's a big thing for a new alternative. It's all life is about. I'm a very big fan of Michael Porter, law of substitutes, new alternative is always plays a big role. So thank you so much. Tamura-san, would you please come and honor the guests here? Tamura-san has recently taken over as a CEO of Bharat Satis, and he was here when Bharat Satis was also formed. He is one of the very key persons in making what Bharat Satis is today. So Tamura-san, please come. Okay. When I met him last fortnight in Delhi during Basai meeting, he had different travel plans, but he wanted to be with us today, and he has cancelled and changed the plans, and he is with us today. Tamura-san. He's got a beautiful office and he always offers very nice Japanese lunch there when you go. You can come forward. He wants to have a better picture. सामने देखो. Please look at. Don't bother. Look at the front. They want to take a picture. मैं दे रहा हूँ. He's the youngest. Yeah. Lovely. Very nice. Thank you. Let's have a. Yeah.